I look up and he's standing in the kitchen and he said, stand up. And he just hugged me and he was like, thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you for...
Welcome to Insights with Marcia, and today I have some extremely special guests. So Lana and Stephen Newton are here with us today, and they have done some really interesting things in their life, and they're getting a lot of attention around it. A friend of mine let me know that y'all were on our local Dallas Channel 4 News, and I watched it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because my nephew is in love with the Red Sox. And then when I realized y'all built a replica of Fenway Park with all the details, and then my kids grew up in youth group all the time. They were mad at me when there wasn't something youth group was doing and they had to be at home. And y'all have been very much involved in that too. So just kind of tell me, how did all this get started? You know, at what point, here's what I really want to know. At what point when you were thinking about building a replica of Fenway Park, did you say, it's time, we got to do it?
Oh gosh, I don't know. We used to live in a regular neighborhood with a regular sized backyard. And my son played wiffle ball in there so much that he kind of rutted out the base paths and hit so many balls over the fence that our neighbor put in a little kid door in the fence so he could go and get the balls and bring them back over. So he's always played wiffle ball. Then we bought 33 acres out in the country. And when we moved in, there was a perfectly flat spot of land, and he said we could play wiffle ball right there. And then we just kind of put it on the back burner, built a house, and did all of that first. And then life started to settle down a little after home building, and we started thinking about doing wiffle ball. And when it turned into what it is, I have no idea. I blame him.
I think you can blame Stephen because he's a big Red Sox fan.
Yeah, I blame him for that.
It's your fault. So tell us about your vision when you got started.
Well, the vision was not remotely what has been seen all over the world.
Neither of us know why we have a miniature Fenway in our front yard.
And visitors from all over the world pulling in our driveway.
Nobody knows.
Wow.
Messages every day from literally all over the world. But no, there was a nice flat spot. And for us, we just want to have a bigger wiffle ball field. That just meant like a legit, like 90 degrees, that kind of deal, because we didn't have that in the backyard. So, and then one day I saw a picture. Somebody tagged me on Facebook. This guy had built a replica Fenway wiffle ball field up in Vermont. And somebody tagged me in it. And they sent it to me the other day. This was 7 years ago. And I said, this post is going to cost me a lot of money. And boy, little did we know that we would end up building that and it go viral and become what it's become now. So
you literally have people driving up in the driveway at any point.
Yes.
Day and night.
Every day.
Day and night.
We had somebody from Iowa pull in at 10 o'clock one night. They were heading back to Iowa and they just had to see it. And
so what do y'all do? Do you stay in bed or you just turn on the lights?
I went out and turned all the lights on, hung out with the guy for 20, 30 minutes.
That
and
was
then he
neat.
took off back to Iowa.
Wow. And I've heard you've had people in your yard replicating plays.
Yes, plays. We've had people from Scotland. We've had countless people from the Boston area, Red Sox fans. So we had some Red Sox season ticket holders stop by. And yes, they were out like replicating famous plays on top of the green monster and diving catches over the wall and things like that. And I was like, that's kind of weird, guys. Y'all get to go to the real stadium, 81 games a year. And then now you hear our fake stadium and you're replicating plays. That was pretty cool.
That is cool.
My favorite person that visited probably, and I didn't even talk to the guy. We did an interview on a sports radio station one Sunday, and the next day, or was it that night?
Same day as that after.
Yeah. This guy pulls up in our yard, an old guy, and he had a little dog, and he was wearing a Red Sox jersey, and he wasn't the super friendliest guy. And Stephen walked out there and he was like, hey, can I help you? And he said, here, take my picture. I'll never get to the real one. This is as close as I'm going to get. And walked out there and wanted Stephen to take his picture in front of the green monster and looked around and
got my
It's
car and drove back to
happening.
Dallas.
But drove all the way down there. He said, "I'll never get to the real one." So,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
So you've got the green monster. What else is just like Fenway Park?
Well, I mean, we added the seats on top of the green monster, so we have monster
Bleachers.
seats. Yes, we have
Wow.
that. The iconic sit go gas sign.
Oh, I love that.
The crazy story how we came about that. And then just recently, if you look at Fenway, if you look at the green monster, just left of the foul pole, there's a Gulf, the Gulf Oil Company sign. So we just added the Gulf. We have the Gulf logo on ours now
Oh,
as well.
that's
So
cool.
yes. And then the measurements on the wall are the actual dimensions of the real Fenway as well.
So he has like white numbers
Yeah,
for
the white numbers
Fenway
are that's
distances,
our
and then yellow
yeah,
for the other.
yes.
I love it. And so do the kids get out there and play wiffle ball?
Every Sunday and pretty much
Yeah, it's almost like every
every
day
day.
somebody's out there
Somebody's
playing
out
wiffle
there.
ball.
And I tell kids in the neighborhood, if nobody's out there, if I don't have like a private party or a Bible study event, if nobody's out there, there's a tub that has like wiffle balls and wiffle ball bats. I'm like, just use it and put it back. And they do. So,
Yeah.
And there's even like an all-star game?
Yeah, so the Texas Wiffle Ball League, they're headquartered in Frisco. They have a full season every year. You have to qualify to make the all-star team, just like real baseball. And they reached out to us 3 years ago, got connected with us. And so we host their all-star event every year. We have a session with kids out there, like a skills competition. And then they do the game. They do a home run derby. This year we had food trucks there, all kinds of stuff. It was wild. Yeah.
Fun.
there are professional wiffle ball players.
Wow.
I mean,
I did not know that.
It's
well,
growing very rapidly.
it is growing. And we just watched a wiffle ball tournament on ESPN. Like it's a thing. Like we had no idea that was a thing. It's just what we did in the backyard because we have a baseball loving son. But it's a pretty big group of people that are into watching professional wiffle ball and playing professional wiffle ball.
Get ready. I think they may want to play one of the matches there.
Yeah, it would be that would be so cool. So.
Wow. So have the Red Sox reached out to y'all yet?
Not yet. The CBS Boston has. The Boston Herald has reached out to us. We've had lots of different groups and organizations, but not them specifically yet. So, with their stadium being so iconic, especially with the Green Monster, that a lot there's replica Fenway Parks all over probably the world, but definitely all over the country. And but ours just is sort of next level, I guess. We have found out. We didn't know that at the time when we were building it, but it's very, very nice. And we've added a lot of the little nuances to it to really make it feel like the real Fenway for sure. But they haven't yet. But if they're watching, call us.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for anybody that, out there that's listening that doesn't know, I found out about y'all after a close friend of y'all's and a close friend of mine sent me when you were on our local Channel 4 here in Dallas. And then the next thing I know, you guys were on NBC's Today Show. So like, who answered the phone?
That would be
or the email?
That would be me. It was the phone. And I was actually working on writing my lesson for Bible study, and my phone rang and it said NBC New York. And I said, ignore, because I was like, that's not really that. So I just ignored it and I kept working. And then I was thinking like, I mean, we just did a TV show, like, I don't know. Well, my phone rang again and it was New York. And so I just said, hello. And she said, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm calling with the Today Show. And I was like, and I don't know what she said, but I said, did you just say the Today Show? And she goes, yeah. And I was like the real one? Because in my mind, I was thinking, like, is there another show? Like,
local or something?
The Not Really Today
Show? I
Show?
don't know. And so she was like, yes, the Today Show. When we watched your TV interview with your local station, and we would like to send a crew out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like freaking out, but I'm trying to be cool, like, act like you've done this before. But I was freaking out on the inside.
Every other day.
Yeah. And so then I got off the phone with her and I called Stephen, and he was with our music pastor at the church. And he said, I said, you're never going to believe who just called me. It was the Today Show. And I heard him go, "Oh my gosh, the Today Show just called." I mean, because I was freaking out. Well, then they called me back and they said, "Hey, we're still good to go, but you need to sign an exclusive so that nobody tries to do the story before we can do the story." And then I called Steven back and I was like, "Did I have to say that we would exclusively work with NBC? Who are we?" But it was really cool. And the people that they sent out were great. I actually became friends with them. They came to a Sunday night Bible study and filmed and were there for the whole thing. And I mean, it was awesome. We had an awesome experience with them.
That is very
Yeah.
cool.
They
Yeah.
even sent out another crew to do a live intro to New York. So I got to wear like the TV headset and I could hear them talking like, "Okay, we're on in 30," and all the things they were saying in my ear. And I was like, "God, cool." And it was in my front yard. It was wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
It's like, didn't happen every day.
No.
And they wanted me to be pitching live to the reporter to
Oh.
see if she could hit. So
Were
I'm up
you
there-
like, "Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
got to get it over the plate"?
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, we were
Our
getting her
son-
hitting lessons. She's a tennis player. She never a good swing, so we were giving her hitting lessons between breaks.
Our
like-
son was like, "Dad, do not hit her." He was like, "Okay, now that you said that, I probably will."
If you love Insights with Marcia and you want even more, I have something for you. Go to my Patreon page, and there you'll be able to watch ad-free episodes that come out early, bonus content every week, my personal show notes, and you may even have a chance to get your questions answered on the podcast. So for $5, $10, or $20 a month, we will keep this conversation going. So go to patreon.com/insightswithmarcia, patreon.com/insightswithmarcia. And let's have some fun. Let's keep the conversation going. I hope to see you there. So, not only is it the most awesome, replica of Fenway Park in the world,
Yeah.
y'all also work with a ton of youth. So tell us all about how that started and what that's like on your property, which is in Bells, Texas, which
yeah.
is about an hour north of Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Bible study came to be, we moved to Bells from Salina, and I was working very closely with the youth pastor at our church in Salina, and was kind of like anything he needed to do or get done, I would do if he wanted me to. And so working with the youth, really investing in them. And then we bought the land in Bells, which was 45 minutes away. And so I knew I wasn't investing in the lives of my kids the way I should because I was far away. I wasn't seeing them multiple times a week. I was just seeing them on Wednesdays and Sundays. And so I felt like I should relinquish my position and let somebody who could invest in them more take it. And so we switched churches. I gave up my position there, and I really started praying because I wanted to do exactly what I was doing at my church for another church. I didn't take a paycheck. I would do all of the work. I just loved working in the youth. And so we visited church. I would ask, and just wasn't finding a place to fit in. Came across some pretty disgruntled youth pastors, I guess, or youth leaders, and I just didn't feel like this is where I'm supposed to go. And so every church we would go to, it was just kind of like, I don't know, might not be a fit. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling pulled to any of them. And so one night we were about to fall asleep, laying in bed, and I said, what about if I just started a high school Bible study here in the living room? And my son was probably 10 or 11, and so he wasn't even a high schooler, but I just felt like that's what it's like, I'm just going to see what he says. And he was like, if that's what you feel like you're supposed to do, then do it. And so that's what we did. We knew a couple of people. We were new to town and didn't have a high schooler. The kids that I did know, I said, hey, I'm going to do a Bible study Sunday night at 7. Invite some people and just come and see, if it's something that you might want to do. And so the first night, I mean, I was hoping for a one. Like, just one kid, please show up, you
Just
know?
give me one.
Yeah, like
It's a
that.
small town, only 1,300 people.
Yeah, it's a very,
just one.
very tiny town. The biggest youth group around was like 8 to 10. So I thought if I could have a one or two, a three would be magical. And I just had visions of sitting around, like just walking through life together and figuring out what the Bible said about stuff and figuring out how to live it out. And so the first night we had 12. I was over the moon. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we couldn't just sit on the couches. We had to pull in the dining room table chairs, you know, and I was like, this is awesome. And so then I just on the fly, the Lord was doing it. I said, hey, bring a friend. And if you bring a friend, your name's going to go in this drawing and you're going to win a prize or whatever. Well, I don't remember the numbers. He's the details and the numbers guy. I'm kind of the big picture thinker. But the next week we had
19.
Okay. So we went from 12 to 19.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is
Yes.
awesome. And then, I mean, our numbers just kept going and going and going. I don't know the numbers. He knows them all.
Yeah, I went 12, 19, 21, 28, first 4 weeks. And
Wow.
within 6 months, there's over 70 kids in our living room.
Oh my gosh.
So-
That's when you know you're doing the right thing.
We had to buy folding chairs. We kept the folding chairs in the garage. When it was time to do the lesson, they would drag the folding chairs through our entire house, you know, banging them on every wall and
Yes.
hitting each other with them and all the things. And then we would set up 70 chairs in the living room.
Wow.
And they were sitting on my kitchen cabinets, on pallets on the floor, on blankets, just everywhere. And it became our normal Sunday night. 60 to
This is
70
what we
kids in the
do.
living room. Like, I just ran into a girl that was part of that group, and she said, I can't believe your son's going to be a senior. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she goes, when I started coming to Bible study, he would hang out with us. And then on the lessons that you didn't want him to listen to, if we were talking about something that may be a little too much, he would go to his room and play his, Nintendo Switch. And I was like, yeah, now he's a senior. I mean, those kids just came in our house and were part of our life, and that's how it was on Sunday nights.
Yes.
And then COVID hit, and everybody was like, you can't have gatherings indoors, and the schools were concerned because I was having so many kids into my home. And so they were like, you can meet, but it has to be outside. That whole deal. Like, if you're in a group setting, it needs to be outdoors. So we poured a patio. A big patio.
A big one, I'm thinking.
And we put a big fire pit in the middle, and we were like, this is our solution. And we had Bible study out there. But there are like 5 nights a year that the weather is good and the rest is cold, hot, rainy, windy. We live in the country, so maybe a pack of coyotes is howling while I'm trying to teach. I mean, it was not
Always
ideal.
something.
And so that's when we started kind of thinking outside the box. Get these kids outside, get them. I wanted the dugout, the building, because I wanted to have a place to have Bible study that was inside and climate controlled, but where we could fit a lot of kids. And so that COVID's really what made us start thinking outside of the box a little bit, because it was like, do we really want 75 people in our living room? Because looking back, might not have been well, we didn't know, we were just doing what they said. And so.
And the concern about the COVID era with our Bible study was we had gone from kids from one high school to almost 20 different high schools.
So do you remember, like, if you had COVID and I was close to you, then I had to quarantine for...
So we had 20 plus schools represented in our living room every week.
So if one of those kids went to school, well, then now I have
20 schools.
20 schools.
Yeah.
It was, the schools were just like, you cannot do this anymore. So really them making that decision kind of pushed us to think, okay, outside. And then once we were outside, it's like, they need something to do. And then, well, we should go ahead and build the wiffle ball field. And then me saying, I really want a building where I can have all the kids in, but that's not in our living room. And so it just, that decision really kind of just led us down a path of where we ended up.
So tell us about the dugout. Most people don't know what the dugout is.
Yeah, the dugout is our 40 by 46 building that we built on top of, we've been self-funded. So basically what has happened is we didn't really know this at the time. For us,
You didn't know what you're getting
But it's
into.
We had
deal.
no idea. Yeah.
it's just the Bible study. It's our Sunday night Bible study in our living room, and well, now with all the exposure, we've had pastors and youth pastors from literally all over the country reach out, and what she and God have built is the largest privately funded student ministry in existence. I mean, we have 130, 140 kids there every week now from 20 plus schools, and it's self-funded. And we became a 501c3 several years ago, but it's mainly self-funded. And so to save some money, we had a half-court basketball court driveway off of our garage. And so we just moved our 2 garage doors from the north wall to the west wall, and then we just built a 46-foot out on top of our 40-foot wide driveway. So we just built that on top of the driveway to save some money. And when we walk in there's a concession stand, a little kitchen, and there's 2 restrooms, and then there's the big meeting room in there that we know it holds 145 because that's our record. We had 145 students. Some of them were sitting on the ground. We had 145 students.
They were there
last December. And then but we have a pool table in there. We have some couches. We have ping pong and things like that. So it's great. And we're kind of at the point now trying to figure out if we need to expand the building that we just paid to build, So but yeah, it's been
it's a
pretty
good
well.
problem, but still a problem. We're running out of space.
Yeah. Good problems
So,
typically are still there's still problems. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
So before the Dugout, our biggest crowd was 73, and we were like, man, that's just so many kids. And now we put 73 in the building, and we're like, where's everybody else? Because we're running double that. Like it's insane what the growth that has happened. And then with that comes we had to buy more chairs, and we need to maybe expand the building.
And we feed them every week. So
I was going to say, and then there's food and they're teenagers.
Yeah, not necessarily a meal,
but
we
snacks
do snacks and drinks, and then every week we have a theme. And so, like, if the theme is, a fiesta, then we'll do a taco bar, whatever. So we do.
Oh, that's a lot.
Feed them. Yeah.
We had cowboy night, and James and Sandra brought a bunch of pulled pork one night. Pulled pork tacos for everybody.
We had a mechanical bull. Yeah, and so they rode the bull and ate barbecue, and then we had Bible study.
If I was a kid, I'd sure be there.
Right.
Oh my.
But this may be jumping ahead, but a lot of people, I take the themes very seriously, like, because I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like having like a snack that goes with it, or decorations that go with it. But some people will tell me the kids only come out there because of the fun stuff, or they only come out there because of the food, or they only come out there because that's where it's become like the trendy place for kids to hang out. And that may be true. I don't really care why they come out there. I just want them to come out there. So if a mechanical bull is what gets Bobby to come to Bible study so he meets Jesus, then the mechanical bull, point for you, point for me, point for the kid, point for God. Like, I don't care why they come.
Exactly.
Just come 100%. On, because you're going to ride a mechanical bull, eat barbecue, and then learn about Jesus.
Right.
So
right.
That's what we do.
Yes. And how many churches don't have coffee bars and everything? Yeah. It's just.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fine if they think that's the reason.
Yeah.
The kids are getting what they need when they get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with the name on y'all's shirts there, Home Run Ranch?
Well, this is one of my favorite stories, but you tell it better. No, you go ahead.
Well, we had a kid move in with us. We've taken in kids over the years, and we had one living with us. And when we had bought the land, we were I'd put on Facebook, like, hey, we bought this land. We're trying to think of a name,
country people, they name their land.
Yeah,
it's something ranch, like that's what it is.
I was like Googling, how much land do you have to have before you call it a ranch? You don't get called a poser by real ranchers, So,
right.
And the mom of this kid, who's doing great, by the way, he's gone on to have a great life and really got his stuff straight. But she had commented on Facebook. She said, with as much as y'all love baseball, she said, I think y'all need to name your place Home Run Ranch, because your place has always been a place for kids to run to. It's always been a home to run to. And that's where the tagline comes from, a home to run to. Yeah. And she said, I can just see kids sweaty and tired and coming around third base, and then they see you standing at home with open arms, and you guys give them grace and mercy and forgiveness, and you try to love on them and help them get back on path in life. And so that's where the name. So it's a very, very special name for sure.
It's so special.
Yeah.
It's so it fits in every single way. From the ballpark to the kids running there. It's perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect.
It's perfect. And what I feel like y'all do is you're mentors. You're mentoring those kids. So have you got, and you don't have to use name, a specific kid's story or two about their life and how it was changed, or maybe you see somebody in the store that went years ago. Give me a story or two. I love stories.
Well, if we go back to the lady that helped us name Home Run Ranch, or who named it, she named it. Her son graduated from high school at the end of May. And then he was going to the military, but his job in the military didn't deploy for basic training for like 2 or 3 months. So he had between high school graduation and when he deployed for basic with nothing to do. So he was making very bad decisions, and he had been coming to a Bible study, not real seriously. We had a good relationship with the kid. Well, he wasn't making good decisions. And so he was out doing who knows what. And he came home one night, and all of his stuff was in a bag and on the porch, and he was locked out.
Wow.
And they had apparently been telling him, like, hey, you got to get it together. Hey, this isn't how it's going to work. His job in the military was a pretty sought after job, very smart guy. And they were like, if you get in trouble, they're not going to take you.
Wow.
This is the goal. You have it, but you're going to lose it. And so I guess the final straw was kicking him out. So he went and lived with people that he shouldn't have been living with. And I knew where he was at, and I knew who he was living with. And so one day I called him and I said, hey, can I take you to lunch? And he said, yes. So I put him in my car and drove to Sonic, not in a restaurant, trapped in my car with me. And I was like, you know where you're living is not good. And you know what you're doing is not good. And you know that your parents are worried about it. I think you need to move in with me. And he was like, no, he was living the high life there. And so finally he was like, yeah, I guess you're right. So he moved in with us. We made him sign a contract. I typed up a contract, and it was like silly stuff like you have to make your bed. You have to eat dinner with us. You have to get a part-time job at least. You have to, do all of this stuff. And he signed it, and we signed it, and we rocked and rolled. His parents would come visit him at our house and then go back home.
They lived 3 streets over. They lived in our neighborhood.
Yes.
That is neat.
He got a job. He was doing all the right things. So 2 to 3 weeks before he was going to deploy, his parents called and said, we're ready for him to come home. We'd like to spend time with him before he leaves. Great. He moves out, moves in with them, deploys, goes and has a phenomenal career in the military, just got out, is in college to become a nurse or something in the medical field. And so, he's a success story. But my favorite part of that is I can watch him now and think we played a small little role in him achieving that, serving our country, building a career. That's awesome. But we had another kid that was living with us, and the first one came home from training from the military, and he called and said, can I come see the new place? We had built the place in Bells. And so he came out, and he was spending the weekend with us while he was in town, and we were housing another kid. And this kid and Stephen had gotten into an argument while I was gone. And the kid's answer every time they got in an argument was, I'll just go to my mom's. Like, if he didn't like our rules, he wanted to be there when it was cool. And then when he didn't like our rules, then he wanted to go to his mom's.
He wanted to run to another ranch.
So I was, yes. So I was upset about that. I came home, and the first kid could tell I was upset. And he said, because he knows me well, are you going to cry? I cry all the time. Happy, sad, hungry. It doesn't matter. I'm a crier. He said, are you going to cry because of what happened today? And I said, if I do, it will be after everyone goes to bed, and I will spend some time with the Lord, and I will cry it out, and then I'll go to bed. I'll wake up and get it over. Get it on the next day. And he said, is that what you usually do? And I said, pretty much. So he was watching a movie super late. I thought he was in bed. We have a little movie room on the far end of our house. So that night I'm sitting on the couch. I'm reading my Bible. I'm about to go to bed. I'm not crying, but I look up and he's standing in the kitchen and he said, "Are you about to cry?" And I was like, maybe. And he said, "Stand up." And he just hugged me and I'm going to cry.
It's okay.
I cry all the time. I'll get it together. Just give me a second. He said, "Stand up." He hugged me and he was like, "Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you for." And I think in that moment he saw I needed him back.
Mm-hmm. And he gave back.
Yeah.
Oh, that
So
is.
I've never cried about that story before, but I cry all the time.
That's a fact. We were supposed to feel our emotion.
But you take a kid that
Yes.
was struggling and kind of closed off and
Yes.
um
And
for
now
him to think
open.
she needs me. So let me say thank you for the things that other kid should have,
Yeah.
and didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got some great stories.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we have tons of them.
Yeah, lots of stories. Like right now, we've been for the last 10 months. One of the original 12 kids has stage 4 cancer.
The
Well,
12 different kids that have stayed with you.
no, the original
Oh, the
12
original
Bible study.
12
Yes,
group.
Yeah.
that showed
Okay.
up to Bible study. Yeah,
The first Bible
the
study.
first
he
Bible
was
study
there.
we did. Yeah, he was one of the 12 kids. Well,
Wow.
fast forward, he just graduated college, and he
12
found out.
disciples.
Yeah, exactly. But he found out he had stage 4 cancer a little over a year ago. So, Lana has driven him to chemo and radiation from Bell's to Southwestern
Southwestern.
a million times over the 10 months, So,
Because it's not like,
Mhm.
oh, you're graduating. Well, thanks for coming to my Bible study. It's we have a relationship. And if we're going to walk through life together when you're in high school, we can walk through life after,
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now we're
That's
seeing
true
them
love.
we're seeing all these kids now get married, have kids, and have job issues. They're having all these adult issues. So
Yeah.
now some of them are circling back. And the other day there was one out working on the wiffle ball field, and he grew up there, but he never came to Bible study. And he goes, "Mr. Stephen, I don't know why I didn't come to Bible study here." He goes, "My biggest regret of my high school years is I didn't come to Home Run Ranch every Sunday night." And he goes, "I don't know why I didn't. I always got invited. I just never did." And he goes, "I really regret that. I wish I would have." So,
Well,
yeah.
that's neat to
So
hear,
pretty-
though.
Yeah.
When you
neat,
think how
yeah.
many of those are there.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So, what advice do y'all have for people? We'll have two answers. Want to build a Fenway Park, but want to start working with kids, because there's a lot of people that I think would love to work with teens, but they don't even know. Like, do you just start with a Bible study, or so? What advice? Let me hear from both of y'all. What would be your advice?
I'd say run, but you go ahead.
Run.
We normally do not feel like that, but I would be lying if I said there wasn't like a day or two where we're like,
Sure.
what in the world?
What have we gotten into?
Yeah. Yeah. I think with kids, students, young adults even, I just invest in them personally. Like, the Bible study's great. I love it. I take that very seriously, but I think what gets them to come back, there are great Bible teachers.
Mm-hmm.
There are, you can watch the best in the world on your phone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can be fed spiritually from multiple fantastic sources that know way more than me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the difference is that, like, those kids, like, I know if their grandma's been sick, I know if they're getting new tires and worried if they're going to have enough money to pay for it. I know that this one's gluten-free, so when we have, pizza night, I got you, like, I know.
Cauliflower crust.
Right, yeah. I think they just notice
Yeah.
when you genuinely care about them, when you genuinely are invested, like, not when it's easy and not when it's fun and not to get on the Today Show. That would never be my goal ever,
Mm-mm.
to do that. Like, it still blows my mind that even happened.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was like, I don't want to make this just about that field, just about what we did, just about, who we are. I want it to be about what the Lord did and what the Lord is doing through the wiffle ball field with our kids. And I think they know that. Like, my goal is to help you become the most awesome Christ follower that you can become. Like, that's it. Like, I want it to be real and I want it to be authentic, and I care about you as a person. I mean, we have kids that come there that I know aren't making good decisions, but I don't treat them any differently than the one that I have that leads my worship on Sunday night. Like, where I care about all of you.
Like a mom, unconditional love.
Right. That's what I try to do, because I think that's the most important thing. Do I know everything there is to know about the Bible from front to back? I do not. And I don't pretend to. And if they ask me a question I don't know, I tell them, I don't know, but I know where we can find that out. Like, that's it. But I know the Lord's heart, and I try to make my heart look like his, and I think they know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd say this to anybody that is talking about maybe wanting to start youth group or youth ministry or working with teenagers, things like that. The first thing I would say is don't meet at a church. And I know anybody that's watching this that's,
No, I love that.
church. To me, we go to church. I'm the elder at my church. We love our church, but I'm also maybe one of the more anti-church people there are. I think church and Christians are our own worst enemies. All things we do and don't do. And but churches can be fill in the blank. They can be judgy. They can be pushy. They can be a lot of things that they're not supposed to be. But threatening is one of the biggest things they can be, is real threatening. And people, all these pastors and youth pastors, are constantly asking, why do you think y'all have so many kids showing up? Because the Bible study was huge before the wiffle ball field. We didn't have a wiffle ball field. And the average church in America is less than 50 people.
Wow.
And we have 130, 140 kids out there a week. So it's definitely like what's going on out there. But we don't meet at a church. And churches are threatening. So when it's like, if you read the Bible, where were all the original churches at? They were in people's houses.
Yes.
That's where people met. So I would recommend not meeting at a church. That'd be my first recommendation. Meet in your living room. Meet at your house. Meet somewhere that's inviting and not threatening. Doesn't have a big cross out in the yard. Stuff like that. Stuff that, like it or not, that it portrays a certain message there, right? So that'd be my first thing is don't meet at a church.
One thing to go with that is I tell my students, you should be going to church. You should be sitting at the feet of someone who has studied this book and knows cover to cover, exactly the Hebrew word of this and what that means and what it looked like. I don't know that. I could know that, but I don't know that. So I tell them, like, be at church. So what I consider our youth group is just a really large, small group. And that small groups meet in homes. Small groups meet at Starbucks. Small groups go bowling and do a Bible study at the bowling alley. Like, that's how small groups work. So I just consider our youth group a really big, small group. And they should be going to an organized church. And
Absolutely.
I tell them, and if you don't have a church you want to, go with me. And so that happens too. But I mean, I think that's, it's logical, like if that's going to be their first intro to a religious meeting. I mean, you would be surprised at how many families, including mine when I grew up, don't go to church. So am I going to walk into a church building to go to a youth group by myself as a 14-year-old girl? Probably not, because it's intimidating. I don't know what they're going to ask me. Am I wearing the right thing? Am I supposed to wear closed-toed shoes? I don't know.
Right.
And so I'm not going to walk in there, but I will walk into the dugout.
Yeah.
Or I will walk into your living room if you're popping some popcorn, and we're going to sit around and
Chocolate chip cookie.
play cards before and then have Bible study. I'll go to that. I know what to wear to that. I know what we're going to talk about. So, and then go ahead.
And then, because in life, good or bad, people return to points of pleasure. Okay, they do, good or bad, whether it's the bar or whether it's a church. If people have a good time, they're going to go back, and she is just the master of making it fun. She makes it so fun. And but I'll give you a perfect example. The last 4 weeks before COVID, we had over 70 kids in our living room every week. When an NFL player was a guest speaker one night, and we're over 70, and boom, the world shuts down. Well, then we didn't meet. We tried to meet online, and that didn't work. And then when we finally started meeting in person again, it was on this new patio we had built. Well, then the weather turned, and a very small local church called and said, hey, we have fellowship hall that we don't use. Y'all can use it for your Bible study. So we start meeting there. And I think the first week we had about 60 kids. And by the third week, we had under 20 kids showing up. And Lana, they started calling her like, we just want to meet at Home Run Ranch. We just want, and because we moved into a church, they quit coming immediately.
Interesting.
Within 3 weeks. And then they're like, well, we can't meet. And they're like, we'll meet in the garage. It's wintertime. So we start meeting in our garage with like propane heaters. We're meeting in our garage.
We were having to crack the garage doors because we
gas
were
everybody.
using propane heaters. And then like all the tools were on the wall, like, or, all a garage.
Garage stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not like a fancy garage, like a country garage. That's what we were working with.
Huh.
And then, like, we met in there the first night. I said, hey, we're back at Home Run Ranch. We're meeting in the garage. Wear a hoodie. Bring a blanket.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the chairs out, like, in the garage, and we're going to meet out there. And how many did we
went
have?
right back to 60, 70 kids. And then that's when we're like, we got to build the building, the dugout, So that's the first thing I would say is to anybody is, I would not start it at a church. I would meet away from a church. That's going to remove a lot of obstacles. Okay. It's going to sound more fun getting invited to somebody's house and to somebody's church. Because you say come to church, it's like, well, what kind of church? What's the denomination? Who's
Yeah.
and it's like you get to avoid so much of that. We say we're just doing it in our house,
Yeah.
But the second thing is, I go back to when we were adopting our son. Somebody gave us this little book, little square books, and it wasn't even really thick, but it was called Kids Spell Love TIME. I've never forgotten that. And that's the magic of the Bible study is with her camera. She's literally built this Bible study with her camera. She goes and photographs all these kids at all their events. And it's nearly 7 days a week and it's year round. We go to the ag shows, we go to the theater shows, we go to the concerts, we go to all the basketball, baseball, football, golf, cheerleading, tennis. We go to, and she photographs it all, edits, posts all the pictures for free. And she's done that. She has posted literally, hundreds of, if not a million pictures now, hundreds of thousands of photos. But every time that there's an event, these kids can look up in the bleachers and see Miss Lana there, and which it's become more difficult because there's so many kids.
So many of
yes,
them.
and
Right.
so we go to different. But that's the thing is you gotta if you really want to grow it, you've got to understand that kids spell love TIME, and that's a good lesson for all parents.
Totally.
But we spend time with these kids. And I say I spend some of it, but she spends so much time with them, but quality time too. Like she gets to know them. She knows their favorite snacks and she knows they got a ticket and they had to go to court about it. And she asked them how that was and how the grandma is and, all that.
That shows
that's
she really
the thing,
cares.
yeah.
That's love.
Yeah,
Well, we had a guy that was thinking about getting into ministry at a startup church, and he wanted to come out and see Bible study. And he came out with his wife, and we were meeting in the living room. So we probably had 60 or 70 kids. And they came in, hung out with the kids before. It was good. We had a lesson. It was good. Well, after the lesson, he was standing next to me. We were talking, but the kids started leaving. And I have one rule really for Bible study, and it's when you get there, I want you to come find me and say hi. And before you leave, I want you to come find me and say bye, because with that many kids, I don't want to not have contact with someone.
Mm.
Like I want to at least say hi, how are you? How was your week? Or have a good week. Did everything go okay or whatever? I want to touch base with them twice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was standing next to me, but they started leaving, and I'd say, hey, let me know about your mom. Let me know how your test goes. Good luck on your driver's license test Wednesday. And like, I was saying all the things that I normally say, and the guy standing beside me. And then they, okay, well, thanks for having us, leave. And then they tell Stephen, like, we realized that youth ministry was not for us because we don't want to know the kids like
they
that.
quit youth ministry that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
He said, I was listening to her say, how'd your test go? Or how's your grandma? Or whatever. And he was like,
It takes a lot of time.
I don't think I'm
energy.
going to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good for you. I mean, good for you. I'm not trying to run you out of the ministry.
Right.
But if the Lord calls you to it, then that will be the desire. Like, I think that would be the desire of your heart. Like, why would it not?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But he changed his mind. He was like, I just don't think I want to do that.
I think it's some of the impact that's come out of Home Run Ranch student ministry is there's actually a few churches now that are rethinking who they hire for youth pastor, because most of the time they hire the young monkey college kid to, but now they're thinking, because you think about most young youth pastors, they're either just got married or they're chasing a girl trying to get married. And if they caught a girl, got married, now they're having a family and all that kind of stuff. They don't have time to go go to all these kids' events. And that's what it takes. It takes time to really build it and get them, hey, this guy cares about me. And that's why they invite their friends. They invite their friends out to Home Run Ranch because they know Miss Lana cares about them. Hopefully they all care about them, but they know Miss Lana cares about them. And I'm just Miss Lana's husband at this point. So, but that's that it's just, but they're rethinking now who they hire for youth pastor. Like, man, maybe we should try to find a couple in their 40s, because maybe they have some extra time on their hands. Yeah, if you got the time, the resource, things like that, to be able to pour into the kids, plus all the life experience as well. There's probably, I know there's certain things that youth pastor can't have a conversation with, with young people about.
But it drives me crazy when people think that being a youth pastor is somehow below being a main, lead pastor. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know if I don't think those two things ought to be switched, because, I mean, you are laying groundwork and foundational work.
That's
that front lobe we were talking about.
Yeah. Like you have a lot of base blocks to lay. And I in my mind, I've just always thought, I think that should be switched.
Yeah.
I don't think any youth pastor or anybody who works with youth ought to think, well, I'm not making as much of an impact as the lead pastor or whatever. I mean, I think, not sure that there's another more influential spot.
Right.
And unfortunately, pastors and youth pastors are quitting by the thousands in our country right now. So we're in a couple of large Facebook groups for youth pastors, and every Monday it's 5, 10, 15, 20 more people like, it's been my last post in here. I just can't handle it anymore. I'm out. Just
it's a lot. Kids are different now, and they act differently. And
a lot of it's the church politics and drama.
Yes.
So.
I think you just have to think outside of the box.
Totally.
I think that would be my number one thing if anybody wants to get into working with youth, is just think outside of the box.
Think outside of the church.
Try to think like them for 1 second, because they're not always thinking wrong and they're not always off base. And you just think like them for a second, and outside of what would be the norm.
Yeah. Well, it has been so much fun to hear about all this, because this show is so much about finding your purpose, finding your destiny, finding your passion. And I think you guys have definitely found it. Definitely. And y'all work so well as a team together. It's just amazing. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that have been listening to this today that would love to help contribute to Home Run Ranch, to help it keep going. So how can they contribute to the ranch?
Yeah. Well, we covered the prayers, number one, right?
Yes.
We definitely covered the prayers, and because it's not easy. Not everybody loves Home Run Ranch. We have enemies. We have people that don't support us for whatever reasons. But so your prayers mean a lot to us for sure. Financially, it's definitely not a cheap endeavor, an inexpensive endeavor.
I mean, just the food alone for those kids.
They eat a lot.
Yeah, it's $1,000 to $1,500 a week to run it, and we do have some people that over the years have helped here and there, and have done different things, but we are 501c3. Right now, behind the wiffle ball field, there's a pipeline, and the pipeline has reached out to us, the gas company, and said, hey, I know y'all have parking issues, which we do, and we want to allow y'all to start parking on this pipeline land, which is great when it's dry, but it's about to be wet season. And so like just specifically, like right now, we're trying to raise about $25,000 to gravel. They're going to allow us to gravel, which is rare. They're going to allow us to gravel their whole pipeline area behind our field. So we can use it for parking on Sunday nights of some of these bigger events we're having. So, so that's one thing. But yes, we are 501c3. You can go to our website, homerunranch.org. And there's all the different news videos are on there, and the
pictures of
There's
some of our
pictures. Yeah.
events.
Lots of
That's
neat stuff on there.
right. For
Yeah.
all y'all,
Yeah.
here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All y'all that
For
are
all y'all.
interested in it. You've got the Today Show and
Mhm.
Channel 4 and
Uh-huh.
pictures,
Mhm.
and then a place to donate.
Yep. Venmo,
Definitely.
PayPal, and cash and check, I guess.
You
That's
can
it.
take
So,
it on.
We have this little lady, I don't know her. She just wrote me a letter. So sweet. She wrote me a letter
from Arkansas.
and she mails us $25 a month. And she said it's all I can do.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I'm
that's
gonna
just-
send it she sends it every month.
She's
And
like a 90-year-old widow woman.
yeah, and she was like, I just saw your story on TV and I'm gonna do everything I can and $25 is it. And I wrote her a note back and every month she writes me a note, keep investing in those kids. And it's a $25 check.
Yeah.
She just writes it
How
out.
neat.
It's so sweet.
Ah,
Special.
that's
Yeah.
y'all just amazing stories right and
Yeah.
left.
Special.
Right and
Yeah.
left. Well, thank you again for being
Yeah, thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah.
For the opportunity.
And join us again. We'll have lots more fascinating people. I'm not sure we can top the home bench, but we will see y'all next time at Insights with Marcia.